we did not have?
What?
A business plan.
Oh, we have a none business plan. None. We had nothing.
Ashamed to admit it, but we didn't have.
We were playing fast and free with our
fast and loose.
just total trial and error, because there have been a billion, like 90% of what we've done has not worked. And like 10% of what we've done has been exactly
So sad.
so sad. And like 10% has been successful. Thank God.
This is DPC Life, where we share honest stories, big ideas, and celebrate the freedom to do medicine our way. I'm your host, DPC physician Ann Gonzalez. Let's get started. This is my partner, Dr. Rachel Kelly, internal medicine, obesity medicine boarded. Fantastic doctor.
Thank you.
Awesome partner.
Oh, well, sweet.
So let's see. Last week we were talking about what tips we have for DPC doctors just opening up. And one of them was regarding aesthetics.
Oh, so, hindsight is always 2020.
Yeah.
And when you start doing DPC, you're like, I'll do everything. I'm so excited. It's all so exciting. It's very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the number one thing for people is to make sure that they develop a good base clientele, in like inside of DPC before doing anything else. So have a DPC that is so robust and working really, really, really well and seamlessly, and you have enough employees that the DPC can run properly and it's funded and everything's great before you do absolutely anything else.
Yeah.
I think with aesthetics, like one thing happens with DPC is that you have so much time all of a sudden and you're like, oh my gosh, look at all this time I have. And I've been in practice for X number of years and maybe we can learn some new stuff. Maybe we could do some new things and offer different procedures and maybe we could do aesthetics. And then you kind of jump into that maybe a little too early before you have a really like well-developed thing going on.
Yeah.
And the thing with aesthetics is that it's expensive. It's expensive to start. It's expensive to maintain.
It's expensive to learn.
It's expensive to learn.
Gosh,
we spent $50,000 in the first year on just training. And, doctors are like that. I mean, none of us are going to go in to do something brand new and be like, let's take one course. Like, that's never going to happen with doctors. Like, we'll have to take all the courses. And then we have to like make sure we can do it perfect before we do anything. And at least that's how I am. I would say if I were, the problem with DPC is that you have a practice to run. And so if you're going to add aesthetics, that means half of your time is taken up by something that's not going to make you any money for a long time.
Right.
And so you have to kind of think about that when you're building your primary practice, that how much money is this primary practice making? Is this primary practice going to cover 100% of the overhead, all of my salary, and probably most of the overhead in aesthetics?
Yeah.
If it can do that, then go ahead, do aesthetics. But,
absolutely.
I think it's sold to you like a total cash cow, and that's one thing, like, add a laser.
Right.
It will make money for you.
Right. I know. They'll be like, oh, you just need to do 3 treatments a month and you'll make your payment.
Yeah.
In 3, but they don't include the other overhead.
All the other overhead. Exactly. Yeah. And there's
not just the cost of
way more overhead than anyone could ever tell you. I mean, when we first started doing aesthetics, the thing that like blew my mind was how expensive everything was. I mean, even to the point where like buying Tox.
Right.
You can't just go and buy 2 boxes of Tox, right? You can.
Just not. You don't get the discounts. You don't get the samples.
Right.
Yeah.
You're going to spend,
it's more expensive.
$600 on 1 box versus, you buy it in bulk, you get samples, you're spending $300 a box.
Yeah.
And then you can't sell it for $1 billion like the established practices can because you
Mhm.
don't have the clientele.
Right.
And so really you're trying to get people into the door. Everybody's telling you not to discount too much, don't discount too much. You're going to get talk shoppers, you're going to get aesthetic shoppers, but at the same time, you have to be reasonable,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of tricks that I think we've learned over the last 3 years about how to get people in the door from just total trial and error,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
there have been a billion, like 90% of what we've done has not worked. And like 10% of what we've done has been exactly
So sad.
so sad. And like 10% has been successful. Thank God, you know.
Right. Yeah,
but,
exactly.
but it's a difficult, you have to think about your market too.
Mhm.
Our market, is not the same as Charlotte or Raleigh. And the people who are selling you things are coming from big markets. So
Mhm.
they're selling you lasers and, devices and everything as if you live in a market like Charlotte. Like the other day, we were looking at a hydrofacial machine and they're quoting like, oh, this new hydrofacial machine's so amazing. You can charge $350 for a hydrofacial.
Yeah.
Th-
That was insane.
Yeah, you can probably
Not
do that
here.
in Raleigh.
Yeah.
You can probably do that in Charlotte. You 100% can't do that
Yeah.
here. So we're not going to get return on investment like they're quoting us
Right.
baseline. Like, and that doesn't again take into account keeping the lights on,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
Overhead, consumables.
paying our
Yeah.
esthetician, all of it.
Now, speaking of esthetician, that's something we just hired her in January. So it's been about 8 months.
Hmm.
And she's only really been seeing clients about 6 months. And it took a couple months. She had to train with
Yeah,
us and, kind of get used to us. But we should have done that a year ago.
100%.
We should have done it
100%.
a
Yeah.
year. Like we should have hired her a year before we did.
Yeah. Literally. Like, I, in retrospect, I've been thinking about that a lot actually, and why didn't we hire? We were so afraid to hire people.
Yeah.
That has been one of the things that you and I have like hemmed and hawed about
Yeah.
constantly. We're hiring a nurse practitioner right now. We've been hemming and hawing about that for 3 years, you know, and it's been like, oh no, if we hire someone, we're gonna go broke. The thing is that like what ends up happening is that you spread yourself so thin
Mm-hmm.
because you're like, I'll do absolutely everything for this practice because I don't want to spend the money to hire somebody who can bring in new clients, fresh
Mm-hmm.
perspectives,
Yeah.
something different, right?
Well, the other thing too is I think we were afraid of what if this person doesn't work out?
What if this
Like we were
person
just
doesn't work
what
out?
ifing ourselves.
We are.
And
And yeah, we totally, and I think that happens a lot
mm-hmm.
with people who have not run a practice before, who are just like, oh,
Right. Yeah, because we've never been in the position really to hire because we've always been employed.
that's so true. I mean, I have hired residents.
Well, yeah, that's
So
true.
that's
You have.
so I've been in that kind of position before, but I've never had to hire employees like medical assistants or estheticians or anything like that. And that's a really risky thing. I guess like for me, I don't feel that stressed out about it
Mm-hmm.
because of the fact that I know that if, somebody's not working out, I do not have any more because I have fired people in the past. Like I don't have as much concern about firing people as I
Mm-hmm.
used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's like a really dark place to go, but this is part of
Right.
running a business.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to let people go because they're not working out like in your model. And that's another thing with somebody who's just starting out in DPC, most likely has never had to deal with employees
Yeah.
yourself.
Right.
So, one of the things that I think is really important starting out is making it very clear to your employees, like both boundaries and what their jobs are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of the blessings of like our practice is that our office manager we knew she previously worked for me in a different capacity. So when she was able
Five,
to,
6 years
for
before.
5, 6 years beforehand, right? And so we were able to grow with her and create a lot of like the framework of this practice
Mhm.
with her helping us in a very safe setting.
Right.
So we knew she wasn't going to steal our money. We knew she was going to do the best she could. We knew what her capabilities were beforehand.
Yeah.
But if I were going to do this again, that like if I had started a new practice or whatever, I would do some things differently,
Mhm.
definitely. I mean, there were
Yeah.
things that I didn't even realize you needed, like SOPs, like all this all this framework,
Right.
kind of defining everything, defining what people do from day in to day out,
Right. Mhm.
defining what I do, who's responsible for things, all of that stuff, because you don't realize like when you're a doctor and you work in a hospital or you work in a big clinic that there is somebody else who is doing that, who is defining everybody's role
Mhm.
while you just mind your business and to see your patients, right?
Mhm.
So then in DPC, you're that person. And literally zero doctors have those skills,
Mhm.
initially.
Right. Yeah. Because you just don't know that it's happening on the back end.
Right. You don't know anything. Like you don't know what's happening ever.
Yeah.
When we took over started this practice,
Mhm.
I couldn't even believe, I didn't even know how taxes worked. I mean, I didn't
I
know.
still have a hard time
I
with
like how
that.
you earlier today you like buzzed out of our conversation when we were talking about the taxes.
Um,
You were like, "Oh, it's something to do."
I do have something to do. Truthfully.
But that kind of stuff, we're not business people. Like
Mhm.
we didn't get any education in businesses,
Right.
writing contracts for people, like just all of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Bookkeeping is so hard. I Bookkeeping is so, so hard. And that's one thing I would 100% recommend to a new DPC is hiring a bookkeeping group. That is actually, even if you have an office manager,
Yeah.
I think that like really, we just hired a bookkeeper and I was like, and
Amazing.
amazing. Like we've been doing these books for 4 years, right? Is it 4 years now?
It is 4 years.
It's
Holy crap. It's 4
oh my
years in
gosh.
like a week.
So we've been doing these books for 4 years, kind of like sloshing through. QuickBooks is impossible to use for a novice user. It's like the blind leading the blind at all times.
Mhm.
Constantly, we're like, did we just do that wrong? Did we just delete something? Is this correct? You never know. You have no idea what you're doing. QuickBooks is
Mhm.
not written for us. You get these bookkeepers, they like in 2 weeks, they turned around fixed our QuickBooks, and now it's telling me things I wanna know
Yeah.
for the first time ever, and we
For the
were
first
for the first time forever. It was amazing. I would 100% recommend that,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
guess we can recommend them.
Can we
Kickstart
recommend?
accounting.
Yeah,
Yeah, why
Kickstart
not?
Accounting.
I'll ask for an affiliate link
Yeah,
later.
I would 100% recommend them. They are
Yeah.
super,
Great
really, really
team.
good. And
Mhm.
I told them exactly what I needed because, now that we've been doing this for like 4 years and sometimes our taxes get screwed up and sometimes I'm having an anxiety attack based on XYZ because of the money.
Mhm.
Like I came into that conversation being like, I need to know this, I need to know this, I need to know this. How do you make that happen for me? When I get my monthly reports,
Mhm.
those are the things that I need to know from you. And they like delivered immediately. So Kickstart Accounting, they're the bomb. I
Oh, yeah,
was
you were saying you wanted this, 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 and
Yeah,
then they came back and they're like, "Oh, we had this other column because we knew eventually you would wanna do this."
completely. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, so the biggest complaint I've had about our accountants, just accounting in general, and I hope our accountants don't listen to this and get upset, but is that they can never tell me how much money estimated money truly we're going to have to pay. They're like, they do the estimates. It's like kind of wrong most of the time, and it's it's based on last year's, money, like how much money we made last year, but the last 2 years we were depreciating stuff, and so we weren't paying the correct amount of taxes for the salary. And I was like, I need somebody to be able to like figure this out. And I know that QuickBooks does it because it has to do with there's a part on the balance of goods or whatever that tells you. And but it's like
We just didn't know how to
wonky
do it.
and it wasn't set up right.
Yeah.
So they set it up right. And now every month, or is it every quarter? Every quarter we get a like running tally of how much we should have paid in taxes already,
Okay.
which is amazing.
That's great.
I'm loving it. I'm like, love it so much. It's funny that these are the kinds of things that make me happy now.
Right?
Seriously.
Yeah.
So, Anne, what do you think, like, if you were going to go back to like 4 years ago, Anne, what would you tell her?
Do differently?
What would you do differently? What would you tell her to do differently? Like, even when we were setting it up?
You know what we did not have?
What?
A business plan.
Oh, we have a none business plan. None. We had nothing.
Ashamed to admit it, but we didn't have it.
We were playing fast and free with our
fast and loose.
fast and loose.
Loosey goosey.
You know what I would not have done is given special pricing to previous patients.
Yeah. And family discounts.
And family discounts. I wouldn't have done any of that. Because one of the things, I think the mentality change that happens when you go from fee-for-service to DPC is it's really, really hard to get your head around the fact that your time is worth something and that you are inherently worth something to these patients.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that you have spent your entire career basing your worth off of the number of patients you can see in one day.
Absolutely.
And in the inpatient, it's, just as bad. It's not like in the outpatient, you have to see 30 patients a day to make $200,000 a year. In the inpatient, it's just like a badge of honor if you can see 25 patients in the hospital and not, and get through your day in a timely manner. But it's all like nonsense. So the DPC model, what you really have to get your head around is that this is no longer about that. This is about your presence as a doctor for someone long term.
Right.
And it's not episodic. And you have to train the patients to think of that as well. Like think like that. And the patients who stick with you long term are the ones who really buy into that concept.
Yeah. Truly, I think a lot of the patients that came with us, I don't know, 50% are probably already gone.
Yes. I think so.
And I think it's because they wanted to follow us, not necessarily that they loved the model of DPC. But the new patients are great.
They really embrace the model.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that I would probably tell myself as well. Like there will be plenty of people who want to do this.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Don't sit there and freak out and be like, oh my God, I have to take whoever because I'm never going to find enough people to do this. And then, and not listen to other doctors. I could not believe the kinds of things that other doctors said to us when we first started in DPC.
I think I blocked it all out.
It would be like all the time, like, I can't believe you're even doing that. What a money grab. Or like you're basically doing concierge. Who cares, first of all? You know what? Concierge doctoring, what's wrong with it in reality? People are paying for your time.
Yeah.
How can you honestly argue that you're giving patients an adequate amount of time when you spend 5 minutes with them once every 6 months?
Yeah. I feel for them. You feel for them because
I do.
We were in that system.
I think the other thing that people kind of get in their heads that like, well, these patients, if they use their insurance, they're not paying for this, but they are. I mean, first of all, they have to pay their insurance. Second of all, they have to pay their copays. And also they're paying for what they get here. You're looking for a model that at least allows you to think through the issues. And if you're seeing complicated patients, listen, you must be a better doctor than I am if you can see a complex internal medicine patient in 5 minutes
Right. And figure it out.
and figure it out. You are
Yeah.
a much smarter, much better doctor than I am. And I'll be the first to say, like, maybe that's true. Maybe I need more time to like think through the
Mhm.
problems. But at the same time, I also have time to write really thorough notes, call other doctors, do research, do all the things that I need to do personally. And this is just me, maybe, I don't know, that I need to do in order to make good decisions and figure out what's wrong with people. And I see a lot of people who have a real big question mark as to what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why people come to see me because I do have the
Oh, I
time.
100% think yes. That's part of it.
And sometimes people come to see me just to like discuss their case.
Mhm.
And that is something that I do enjoy doing as well,
Right.
so I don't mind that.
Yes.
But
Internal.
this model allows me to do
Right.
that. Well, what are your tell me, like, what do you think if you were gonna give, you know, someone one piece of major advice about starting aesthetics?
Oh, starting aesthetics. Really think hard about it. Think don't don't look at the money. Think really hard about because if you're going to do aesthetics, you need to back off your DPC patients because you're not going to have enough time
Yeah,
to do aesthetics if you have a full DPC practice. When are you going to do the aesthetics? Then you're going to get burned out,
yeah,
right? So you have to. So we just kind of let some go by attrition and just never replaced
right.
those patients. But definitely talk to other people. That's what we didn't do.
We can talk to anybody. We're so sneaky
Well, we
about
only we
it.
we talked to our our previous boss because she
Yeah,
was doing aesthetics, but she was driving in 1 day a week. She has a whole staff to schedule, to order stuff,
to do
get
all of
stuff
it.
ready for her, prep her stuff, and
Yeah,
she'd roll in, do some Botox, and that was it.
yeah. Exactly. And she never mentioned how expensive it was, although we should have kind of known that.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
were like, yeah, we could do that.
We
That's
can
awesome. But then we didn't think about this
uh,
95% of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
I think that probably our the thing we should not have done was buy a second device when we did. You know,
I almost think we shouldn't have bought the device the first
the
one when
first
we
one.
did.
I think, one thing that the device people do is really prey upon new practitioners.
Oh yeah,
And
100%.
they really push this narrative that in order for you to grow, you
Mm-hmm.
need to have devices. But it's not that, it's the opposite of that. In order for you to grow, you need to have clients who come to you regularly.
Right.
The only way you can get clients to come to you regularly is to do talks and do
Like
facials,
microneedling and facials.
microneedling, that kind of like the stuff that you
Yeah,
can do without anything,
and that's
you
where
know?
the esthetician comes in
Comes
too.
in. Exactly, because you have to have a baseline regular clientele, because if you buy a device, it's not like people are gonna have lasers done every month, or they're gonna have lasers
Mm-hmm.
done even twice a year. People get their lasers done and they don't come back, and that's true for Neogens, that's true for, for all of these, like, big ticket items.
Right.
And what you have to have is a regular clientele who is comfortable with you, who may do other things, but really wants to improve skin, buys some retail, sees your esthetician, gets their
Mm-hmm.
talks done. That's how you build a practice.
Right. Yeah, and then they stick with you
Mhm.
instead of going down the road.
Exactly, and when they want something, they'll say, "Hey, do you do this?" Or and when you learn how to do something new, these are the people who will go and be your model. They're trusting, they will understand, like, what you're learning how to do, they already know your skill set,
Right.
and they'll tell people, and they'll bring people with them, and they'll bring people into the practice.
And even if there's a complication, Like I did lifting threads.
Yeah.
And one of the threads popped.
That's right. Yeah.
But she was just like, that's cool. It happens.
It happens. And that's what you get with regular clientele who know you and who are comfortable in your practice.
Yeah.
And that's why I think long term, DPC and aesthetics go together really, really well because of the fact that you have a built-in clientele who trust you and who want to grow with you. Not everybody, obviously. You don't want to be one of those practices that pushes, whatever you're doing on patients who are here for hypertension, right? But you lightly offer. I never bring it up.
I don't either.
Yeah, I never bring it up to regular people.
If they want to see us for aesthetics, great.
That's a totally different hat.
If they want.
Yeah, I very much do not. I like to keep those things separate. This is this visit for your doctoring. This is your aesthetics visit. These are very different things. I don't want anyone to ever feel pressured to do anything. And so I'm a very, very bad salesman.
I don't know if that's bad. I mean, I think there's definitely some of our patients who are real offended that we do aesthetics.
Most of those people have gone.
Yeah, most of them have gone. But yes, initially, some of them are just like, oh my gosh.
I think they thought that it would like take over the practice because
people still ask that.
Yeah, because they have seen other practices in town make heavy left turns into aesthetics and like never do regular medicine again.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think that people have done that to them. They've been in other, I can think of a couple of practices in town who have done that.
Yeah.
And I think that there's always that fear that like, oh, you guys are going to get taken up by this and that, and you'll never do my regular healthcare ever again. But I feel like that's kind of the opposite of what's happened. We've just like added more regular healthcare too. Like we've we've added more women's health, to our practice than we were previously doing. We've added more obesity medicine, and not in the like gimmicky way, but in the actual like working through your
like
lifestyle medicine type of stuff. And so the addition of the aesthetics has really been not the only thing.
Right. Yeah. It was good in the sense that we realized you can add other things.
Yeah.
Different services, different service lines, and it's okay.
And that's okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to DPC Life. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who's ready for change. And remember, wherever you are on the journey, your DPC family's got your back. See you at the next episode. This show is made possible by DPC Ads and Minutes and Harmony Ops Health, supporting independent doctors like you to help your practice grow and thrive.